Hello, welcome to week one. This week you're going to start the class, introduce yourselves on the introduction forum via the forum link there in week one. Watch the Elements of Music slideshow. That'll give you some of the basics for form and content of music, pitch, beats, harmony, all those kind of things. It will give you the vernacular so you can write using those terms. The readings and the videos work together. So I've tried to feature as many artists as I can cram into about an hour's worth of viewing. I look for the original performances of these artists when I can on YouTube. The forum instructions should be clear. I've got written instructions and voiceover instructions for the forums. For week one, team one needs to get ready and get going on that soon because you'll post a presentation to the forum. I'll write some questions and then everybody will respond, and those need to be posted by Wednesday. So get going on the forum. Hope the instructions are clear. Let me know if they're not. The AHA blog is just a fun exercise to give you a chance to write about what really inspired you during each week of the course. The videos, I'd like to talk about them a little bit. Sonny Boy Williamson is up first. My wife and I recently visited his grave in Tutwiler, Mississippi. In 1903, W.C. Handy, who was a formerly trained African-American musician, he was a formerly trained musician, he got onto a train in Tutwiler, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta, right south of Memphis. And he said at that time, because he wasn't all that familiar with music, blues music at the time, but he said at that time, a loose-jointed Negro had commenced plunking a guitar beside me while I slept. As he played, he pressed a knife blade against the guitar and made a sliding kind of sound, as you know. And it was the same kind of technique as popularized by Hawaiian guitarists who used steel bars. Hawaiian guitarists, played down like this. Well, he was playing like this on a slide guitar kind of basis. And he said the singer repeated the vocal line 3 times, accompanying himself with the guitar with the weirdest music I had ever heard. And he ended up notating that music, so that was the first notation of the blues. So the blues has been notated for 100 years, and it's probably been around a little longer than that for sure. Big Joe Turner, you'll see his film. He's great. He's a Kansas City guy. He's a blues shouter. And Jesse Stone wrote a song for him in 1954. Jesse Stone was from Atchison, Kansas. He was a Kansan, and he wrote under the assumed name of Charles Calhoun. And he wrote Shake, Rattle, and Roll. So probably one of the most well-known rock and roll songs of all time, written by a Kansan. The Midwest has played a huge role in rock and roll's development. Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters left the Delta to go to Chicago, and they dominated that city in the 50s and late 40s and all through the 50s as blues musicians who were transitioning into rock and roll. The Rolling Stones obviously got their name from Muddy Waters' song, which is featured this week. There's a lot of variety. Women in the blues, Camille Howard, a long-forgotten artist, a great vocalist, a great writer, and a fabulous piano player. I've got a rag in the videos this week. It just shows a record spinning around, but boy, she's a great piano player, and nobody's even heard of her, and that's a pity because she's as good as any artist. Ruth Brown is little known, also in some circles. Others, she's well known in her area, in her niche, but she's a fabulous early rhythm and blues performer. Arthur Crudup, he wrote That's All Right Mama, that Elvis made famous, and I like to make these connections between the original artists and then those who imitated their material and took it a little further into rock and roll. Wanda Jackson is still around. She's the female Elvis, and you'll see her video of her slinging a guitar and playing kind of a rockabilly, rock and roll style back when she was younger. Carl Perkins, I saw Carl once in St. Louis in about 1980 in St. Louis. What a great guy, just a really nice guy. And he wrote, of course, Blue Suede Shoes that Elvis made famous, but he wasn't as pretty as Elvis, so he never made it quite as big as Elvis. Chuck Berry, I saw him recently at the Botanical Garden in St. Louis. He was born October 18th, 1926. He's still rocking, and he's about 83 years old. Still duck walking, though. What a guy. And I've got Carl's and Chuck Berry's picks. I asked them for their picks, and they gave them to me. And I also have a Jerry Lee Lewis ticket stub from when I went to see him. And I really am a music fan as much as I am a musicologist, so I've really enjoyed learning about these original artists. And I'd like you to think of the multicultural dimension of these artists. There's blacks, whites, Hispanics, Native Americans, men, women, but please notice that all of these people are Americans. There's no Europeans yet diluting the market at this time, and that comes pretty soon in the course. But so I want you to think about what the melting pot of America is like and why did it develop rock and roll. Hey, have a good week. Let me know if you need any help, and I'll see you soon. Okay, thanks.